Melissa from Porch Swing Creations. Today I want to show you this cute little snowman treat holder. Perfect for a quick gift for a friend or a neighbor or just someone you want to give a little thanks to during the holidays. To make this little box, we're actually going to use the new envelope punch from Stampin' Up. So I'll show you how to make that first, and then we'll get into the punch art to make Frosty. So the first thing you're going to need is the envelope punch board, and you're going to start with a piece of Whisper White cardstock that's 6 inches square. So the first thing you're going to do is line up your paper onto your 2-inch mark, and we're going to draw a score line, and you're going to punch. Then we're going to move the paper down to 2 5/8. Follow the same thing. We're going to make that score line, and we're going to punch again. You're going to rotate the paper, and this time this little dial here, you're going to line that up with that first score line, and now you're going to score again and punch. Line up that little dial with the next score line, score, punch. Rotate your paper, line that dial up with the first score line, go ahead and score, punch, line your dial up, draw your second score line, punch, and now we don't have to draw a score line because this is going to be the top of our treat box, so you just want to line that dial up with that first score line and punch. Line it up with the second and punch again. And then what we're going to do is flip the board around, and we're going to round the edges. So you just want to tuck it in there and punch on all 4 sides. Okay, and we're done with the board. So we'll just kind of fold along these little score lines that we've made. And you're going to want to have a pair of paper snips. And at the bottom here, this little square, we're just going to trim that away on both sides. Okay, now before we go ahead and assemble the box, on my original, I've sponged the edges with Coastal Cabana ink. I don't know if you can see that very well or not, but we're going to go ahead and do that. So we'll just ink up our sponge, and we're just going to hit the areas that we're actually going to see when the pouch is closed. So we're going to hit up that edge, this little edge, and the side. Okay. Next you're going to need some mini glue dots, and we're going to go ahead and start assembling the box. So you're going to have a glue dot here on the bottom, and you're just going to want to gently fold that over. And then you're going to want a glue dot on this edge, and you're going to want one on the inside edge here. So now when we fold this over, you just gently put your finger in there and push it closed. You've created your little treat box. So now we're ready to go ahead and assemble Frosty. So the first thing you're going to need is a 2.5-inch circle punch from Whisper White cardstock, and I've already gone ahead and sponged the edges with the Coastal Cabana cardstock, or ink, sorry. And then I've cut 2 pieces that are 3¼ inches by roughly 2 inches long, I'd say, and go ahead and sponge the edges with Coastal Cabana ink as well. Then we're going to need to punch a nose for Frosty. So we're going to go ahead and use the pennant punch. And all you're going to want to use is a piece of pumpkin pie cardstock, and I'll just show you how I line it up. I take the edge of the cardstock and I slide it into this punch just about that far, and just kind of angle it a little bit so it kind of looks like Frosty's nose might, and go ahead and punch, and you're left with a nose. I don't like how straight this looks though, so I take my paper snips and I just kind of run a jaggedy edge just to kind of, you know, make it not so perfectly straight. And then go ahead and take Cajun Craze ink and just sponge the edges just to give it a little bit of color. Okay, so that's ready to go. So before we go ahead and put that on there, okay, we're going to need, sorry, I should back up. We're going to need this for the nose, and we're going to need 2 sprinkles from the cupcake punch. These are going to be Frosty's eyes. And we're also going to need some Pink Pirouette ink or Blushing Bride ink. I've chosen Blushing Bride in this instance, and I'm going to use a sponge dauber, and we're going to make some cheeks for Frosty. So with a really light hand, just go ahead and sponge on a couple of rosy cheeks on either side of your circle. Okay, there we have that. Now we're going to go ahead and place his nose, and I'm going to be using Tombow adhesive for my project. It's my favorite for doing punch art, and we're just going to kind of angle that down. And then my next favorite tool is my trusty pair of tweezers. I'm going to go ahead and put his eyes in, so I'm just going to put 2 dabs of glue. Go ahead and put his eyes on. Okay. And the next thing we're going to do is his hat. So I've already gone ahead and I've punched a window label from Basic Black. And you're going to need to punch with your 1 3/8 square punch. Go ahead and punch out a square out of Basic Black. And then to get the rounded edge that I did on the top of this Frosty's hat, you can see it's kind of rounded. You're going to want to take your square punch and you're going to want to slip it into your large oval punch. And it just so that it ever so slightly goes inside the punch. And punch. And you'll get that nice rounded edge. So we're going to glue the brim to the bottom of the hat. And I've already assembled, I've cut a flower from the Boho Blossoms punch. And these are, and this is out of Gumball Green. And then these 3 little dots are the sprinkles from the cupcake punch, and I punched those out of Cherry Cobbler. So I glued that together first. And now I'm just going to glue that to the top of the hat. And I'll run a bead of glue along the back of the hat and just kind of angle that over on the side of Frosty's head and glue that down. And the next thing I'll do before I go ahead and draw on the mouth is I'm going to glue his scarf on. So we're going to have 2 pieces of, this was the Winter Frost DSP, and I've cut them out of the Modern Label punch. So you're going to need 2, and you're going to want to cut one of these in half. And I'm going to run a bead of glue along the edge. Glue those 2 pieces together. And then I'm going to glue this to the edge of here. So go ahead and apply some glue at the tip here. And you want to make this almost straight out. And you'll see why, because when we go to actually put it on here, it's not going to want to fit if you put it at too much of an angle. So after you've assembled the scarf, I just run a little bead of glue across the head. It's okay if the nose kind of pokes through there. And we'll just glue that down. Okay. So the next thing we need to do is add a little bit of character to him. We need some eyebrows and a mouth. So I'm just using a basic black marker, the fine tip. And I'm going to go ahead and put a couple of eyebrows on him. And then for the mouth, I'm just going to draw a few circles, the shape of his mouth. There you go. That's pretty simple. So you can go ahead and glue that onto the top of your pouch, like so. And then with those strips that you cut earlier and sponged, you're going to want to cut 2 small ovals, and I've cut these out of gumball green. And you just want to glue those to the bottom of the arms to make it look like he's got some little mittens on. And you could go a lot more, you know, you could add little thumbs and whatever, but I just wanted to kind of be quick and not get too crazy with detail. So you just want to apply a little bit of glue to the top, and I just kind of offset it where in behind here where the arm would normally be or would naturally fall, and then you can play a little bit and position his arm. Go ahead and do the same with the other one. Whoops. Didn't let the glue set up there. Okay. We'll just hold that for a second so that it stays in place. Okay. Now all that we need to do is add his buttons. So I just do a few dots of glue, and these are cut. These are 3 circles that I cut using the second largest circle in the owl punch, if that makes any sense. I think I have my owl punch here. Yes, it's these ones right here. I'll just go ahead and glue those in place. There you have it. You have Frosty all assembled. So now all you need to do is, in this case, I've added 2 little peppermint sticks in one of our small cellophane bags and a packet of hot chocolate. So I just folded that over so it would fit. Tuck that in there. Tuck the peppermint sticks in behind, and you're ready for gift giving. How sweet and cute is that? It's perfect for a quick gift. You've seen how quickly that came together. Think how many you could get done in a really short period of time. I hope you enjoyed this, and I wish you a happy holiday if I don't do another video before Christmas. Take care, everyone.